Hi everyone and welcome to week 6 of English 102. At this point, I hope you've had time to complete some research and writing towards your annotated bibliography. Don't worry, you've still got a few days before your draft is due, but I urge you to begin ASAP if you haven't yet. This week, we'll engage in the first peer workshop of the semester focused on drafts of your annotated bibliographies. We will use Google Drive to do this. In the Week 6 content folder, you will see a link to the Google Drive folders where you will both upload your annotated bibliographies and give feedback to 2 assigned peers by the deadlines listed on the schedule. You will also receive feedback from me. Before I get into the specifics of how to do this and some tutorials, let's first talk about peer workshop and the differences between helpful and unhelpful feedback. Helpful feedback is when you offer the recipient of the feedback, or in this case, the classmate whose paper you're commenting on, at least one thing they can act on or address in the future. Unhelpful feedback, on the other hand, gives little information to progress the project. Here's an example of unhelpful and helpful feedback about a book. If you were to say, "I like the characters," as a point of feedback, that would be considered unhelpful because you aren't offering anything to build on. Instead, you could be more specific and say, "I like when the characters share stories about their upbringing because it helps me as a reader feel more connected to the bigger story of the book." Perhaps you could include more moments of storytelling between characters. This point of feedback is much more helpful because it not only points out what you feel about the work, but also reinforces it as something you'd like to see the author do more of. Here are some more examples of unhelpful versus helpful feedback. Instead of saying, "Your writing doesn't have a point," you might say, "It sounds like you're trying to show readers how your strict upbringing led you to rebel in high school. Could you reflect more specifically on this connection and how this rebellion shaped who you are now?" Or, instead of saying, "Your essay is unorganized," you might say, "It might help you to focus on 5 or 6 main ideas and then structure each paragraph around one of those." Or, instead of saying, "This paper is full of errors," you might say, "You switch a lot between first and third person point of view and past and present tense, which confused me. Sticking to one perspective might make your essay easier to understand." This chart includes a few more examples, and I recommend pausing and taking a minute to read it now. I think you all get where I'm going. The goal here is to provide feedback that is constructive, clear, and helpful. Okay, so as I mentioned, we will use Google Drive for peer workshop. Here's how you should upload your drafts. Once you complete a draft of your annotated bibliography, you should save it as either a .docx or .pdf file. From here, go into the Week 6 content folder here on Blackboard and click the Google Drive folders for Peer Workshop link. Select the folder that contains your name on it. For the purpose of this example, I will select the first one. Once here, upload your file either by the New button with the plus sign in the top left of Google Drive or by clicking the Drop Files Here link in the center. Click File Upload and navigate to the appropriate file on your computer. Once the file finishes uploading, then you'll be ready to receive feedback from your folder group peers and me. And here's how I would like you to use Google Drive to give peer feedback following this week's schedule. When it's time to give feedback, navigate again to the appropriate Google Drive folder with your name on it to access your assigned folder group peers draft. Double-click on their draft to open it in this preview mode. From here, you can read and leave in-text comments by highlighting the section you want to comment on and clicking the Add a Comment plus sign on the right of the document. For peer workshop, I would like you to leave at least 5 comments on the document itself and then complete a feedback letter to the writer as a separate Google Doc titled Feedback for a Classmate's Name and Your Name in the same folder. The letter should be 700 to 1100 words in length and include the following. 25 to 100 words should be a summary of what your ideas to follow will say. Think of this as a TLDR, aka too long, didn't read, summary of the letter to come. Though I do expect each of you to read every word of the letters you get from your peers and myself. The next 50 to 100 words should focus on strengths in the draft. For instance, the depth of a summary or takeaway. The next 50 to 100 words should focus on weaknesses in the draft. For instance, an incomplete citation or not following the guidelines for a citation on the assignment sheet. The next about 400 words should be bullet point comments with larger suggestions for improvement and ideas for how to develop this annotated bibliography toward their research paper. The last 200 to 300 words should be your sincere perspective of the argument and ideas being developed so far based on the sources and commentary written about each source. It might be helpful also to refer back to the Week 2 Blackboard posts brainstorming the research project ideas as a place to see what ideas the author is building on. I realize this might feel like a lot, but remember that your annotated bibliography draft and this peer workshop are 2 of the 3 main goals of the week. You do not have any more reading responses, so consider this time spent on one another's drafts as time that you might have previously spent on reading responses. Also, you will get 3 separate grades for this week: a homework grade for submitting your draft and 2 participation grades for the feedback you give to your other 2 group mates. Finally, a reminder that we'll also be giving you feedback as well in the form of in-text comments and a feedback letter. Additionally, you should take time to make a Writing Center appointment this week, either with the virtual Writing Center or in-person Writing Centers. Here's how to set up an appointment. First, navigate to the Writing Center link in the Week 6 content folder. Once you get on the Writing Center website, click on the Appointments tab in the navigation bar. Here, you'll see 3 options to make either an in-person appointment at the Ekstrom Library Writing Center location, an online writing appointment at the Virtual Writing Center, or an in-person appointment at the Health Sciences campus location. Choose whichever you feel is appropriate for you, but for this tutorial, I will show you how to make an appointment with the online Virtual Writing Center. Click on the second set of options, which will take you to another screen on which you need to log in. Your login credentials are the same as your Blackboard or ULink username and password. Make sure you click on the drop-down menu and set it to Virtual Writing Center before clicking Login. Here, navigate to the week you want to schedule an appointment during. For the purposes of this example, I'll use the week of July 1st through 7th. The white boxes here indicate open appointments. Blue boxes are taken appointments that are not available now, and gray boxes indicate unavailable time slots. Eventually, you'll also see a green box once you make your appointment that indicates where your appointment is. I'm going to select the first available appointment on July 2nd and click this white box. Complete the simple questionnaire and click Save Appointment. After this, you should receive an email confirmation with directions about how to participate in the appointment. And that's it! You've made an appointment with the Virtual Writing Center. A quick note, be sure to tell the Writing Center consultant that you need them to send your instructor, me, a receipt that you did attend your appointment so that I can give you a participation grade for your time and efforts. Okay, I'll let you get to work. Again, please feel free to reach out via email with any questions, comments, or concerns throughout the week. Good luck!